Smart Solutions. Add-on Desire.
Hello viewers, welcome to our daily news analysis session. I'm Lokesh Penigunda. Let's look into the first article of the discussion. So there is an article in the Hindu. It is talking about Afghanistan government having just two bad options. So let's see the issue with Afghanistan. So in 2001, America has witnessed 9/11 attacks. So what were these 9/11 attacks? Al-Qaeda, with the support of Taliban, has attacked Twin Towers and World Trade Center, which are in New York of the America. So what happened was, this happened in September of 2001, and in October, USA along with its allies, particularly the NATO, they have invaded the Afghanistan. So why was there an invasion on Afghanistan? Because Afghanistan was then ruled by Taliban, and this Taliban has provided access and shelter to and these Al-Qaeda members has led the attacks on the Twin Towers and the World Trade Center. So to remove the Taliban from the power in Afghanistan, USA and its allies has invaded Afghanistan, and they succeeded in removing the Taliban from the power, and after that a provincial Afghanistan government was set up. But what happened was, as the Taliban, which were not completely wiped out, they managed to attack the American and the combined forces of the Western allies and also the Afghan government. So what happened was, the Taliban, as they are not completely wiped out, they managed to escape to the villages, hinterlands of the Afghanistan, and with the weapons and the resources provided by the Pakistan, they were able to attack on the forces on the USA and the NATO along with the Afghan government forces, and due to which from 2001 to 2020, nearly 2,300 USA soldiers has died. Also, this war has been proved to be very costly for the United States, because United States till now has spent nearly $770 billion on the war in Afghanistan, and also it has spent nearly $50 billion for reconstruction effort, because during the 2001 invasion and later due to the Taliban attacks, many of the buildings and the infrastructure damaged. So to repair this infrastructure, nearly $50 billion were spent, and till now the government forces and the allied forces of the Western government have been fighting the Taliban from the last 20 years. But still, the Taliban is able to manage and get control over many places of the Afghanistan hinterland. And in this image, you can see the control of Taliban as of Jan 31st, 2021. So whatever the red areas you can see in this image are being controlled by the Taliban, and the government is able to control over the white areas, and the remaining areas are either contested, that is, there is a fighting between the Taliban and the government over these areas, and in some other areas the Taliban has been able to manage these areas, get control over these areas through their proxies and their supporters. So what happened is, even though the USA and its allies are able to defeat Taliban in 2001, they are not able to completely defeat Taliban till now. So Taliban has re-emerged and they are able to get control over many areas. But now what happened is, after 20 years of war, the USA got tired because it is losing more amount of money and it is losing more amount of soldiers every day. So what it did was, it signed a agreement with Taliban. So this agreement was called as Doha Agreement. as the agreement between Taliban and the American government was signed at Doha. This agreement is called as Doha Agreement, and according to the agreement, America has provided guarantee to the Taliban that it will remove nearly 60% of its forces after the agreement, and by May 1st of 2021, it will remove all its forces on the ground in Afghanistan. So what will happen is, if the USA government is leaving the Afghan soil, the Taliban will become more powerful, because till now, even with the support of USA and its allies, the Taliban are able to get control over many areas, and they are fighting the government forces. If the USA leaves the Afghanistan, then it will be easy for the Taliban to take over the Afghanistan as a whole. So what suggestions the USA government provided to the Afghanistan government was, the USA government has said to the Afghan government that we need to form an interim, inclusive or a union government. So what is this interim, inclusive or union government? USA is saying that the Afghanistan government should have Taliban members as members of the cabinet. That is, the government of Afghanistan should share some of its powers with the Taliban. So what would happen is, the Taliban would enter the mainstream politics, and the Taliban maybe in future put an end to the violence, and they get into the electoral arena, and there will be peace in future. Because if there is no interim government before May 1st, and after May 1st, if the government forces of the USA leave, then the Taliban will be easily taking over the entire Afghanistan. So the Afghanistan government has now only two options left. That is, one, to share power with the Taliban. Second, if they don't share the power, and if the USA forces retreat, then the Taliban will run over the entire Afghan government, and it will occupy the entire Afghanistan. So this article is saying that the government of Afghanistan to take a decision, and even though it may take the first decision, this may lead to some loss of rights given to the Afghan people. So the Afghan government has only these two options. This is what the article is talking about. So we've discussed about the Doha Agreement, interim union government, why it is important, because the USA forces are leaving, no light at the end of the tunnel. This is in the context of USA feeling that even after expenditure of nearly 770 billion and losing so many lives, there is no guarantee that the Taliban will be wiped out completely. So the USA thought it would be better if we leave the Taliban and the Afghanistan government to share power. So the second article is regarding the vaccine nationalism and the vaccine availability to the world. So regarding this, you can, for more details on the vaccine nationalism, visit our March 12th news analysis session. That is our yesterday's session. In this session, we've discussed in detail regarding the vaccine nationalism and vaccine diplomacy. So now we'll give you a brief about vaccine nationalism. Vaccine nationalism is a condition if the government of a country is prioritizing its own citizens and its own domestic market over others. So this is called vaccine nationalism. So what happens is, let's say USA, if it is buying 500 million doses of COVID vaccine, then there would be lesser amount of vaccines for others to buy. So it would be difficult for poorer countries to buy vaccines and vaccinate its population. So this is the problem with vaccine nationalism. So let's look into the vaccination status in various countries. The article is stating that several countries in the world have not yet started vaccination process. This is mainly because of poverty. Because if a country is poor, it might not be able to buy vaccines, because vaccines are generally either costly, or though it is affordable for middle income countries, it might be difficult for poorer countries, let's say Somalia, Yemen, and countries which are facing civil war. It would be difficult for them, even if they buy these vaccines, to vaccinate people. So some countries cannot buy vaccines, and in some cases, though the countries are able to buy vaccines, they might not be able to vaccinate. In case of Yemen, in case of Afghanistan, it might be difficult for them. So the article is stating that of the 54 countries in Africa, of the 54 countries in Africa, only 13 countries have started vaccination process. So nearly 41 countries have not even started the vaccination process. In contrast to this, 10% of USA, that is 10% population of USA, got 2 doses of vaccine, that is they're completely vaccinated. And in European Union, 3% of the population got complete vaccination. And if we are taking population as a percentage who got at least one dose, then the population percentage will be double. That is, let's say in USA, at least 20% citizens got first dose of vaccine, and in European Union, 6% got at least 1 dose of vaccine, and in United Kingdom, at least 34% of the population got vaccinated already. And even in India, we've given nearly 26 million vaccine doses. Though this is the third largest in the world, that is third highest number of vaccinations in a country, this is just less than 0.5% of our population, because as our population is huge, even though we provided 26 million, the vaccination status is less than 0.5%. So this is vaccination status of various countries. So why is there an issue of no vaccination in some countries, and why is there vaccination of very high percentages in some countries like UK? That is mainly because of poverty. And also in countries which are getting vaccinated, there is a phenomenon where we can see class and information divide. So what is this class and information divide? That is people who are from a rich background, that is people who are able to buy these vaccines, they are able to get vaccinated first. That is, more number of rich are getting vaccinated. And also those with proper information, that is, let's say there is a vaccination center nearby, and people who know about this information, that is where is the center and when you have to go, that is in what time you can go. So people with this information, they are able to get more vaccines. So there is class and information divide, and this is an issue. Also there is an issue of rich countries hoarding and buying more, as we've discussed regarding the vaccine. Nationalism. So the richer countries are able to buy more and hoard more vaccines than they need, particularly at that point of time. So these are the various issues that are challenging the vaccination programs. In contrast to the vaccine nationalism, India and other countries like China are using vaccine as a diplomatic tool. So what is vaccine diplomacy? Vaccine diplomacy is when vaccines are used by countries to increase their diplomatic and bilateral relations with other countries. Bilateral relations with other countries. Regarding the vaccine diplomacy, in detail we have explained on 12th March, that is yesterday's session. So please go through this. So what is the way forward? The way forward will be the United Nations, World Health Organization and other international organizations. What they can do is they can raise funds from philanthropists, richer countries and other donors, and these funds can be used to buy vaccines in bulk, because when you are buying vaccines in bulk, the amount of vaccine, that is the amount of price of vaccine, will be reduced. And also the way forward will be countries, particularly the Western and the richer countries, hoarding less vaccines, because when you are taking vaccines only as much as you require, there will be more vaccines to the people left to the world. So less hoarding. So this is the way forward. Let's look into the next article. This article is talking about the West Asia and the challenges and the geopolitical changes that is happening in West Asia. So first, this article is talking about an exercise called Desert Flag. So Desert Flag is a joint exercise, joint multilateral exercise. So this exercise is being hosted by UAE, as you can see here, and UAE has invited many countries to this exercise, including countries like India, UAE, Bahrain, France, Saudi Arabia, South Korea and United States. But why is there a change? That is, what is the change in this exercise? Because from this year onwards, India and South Korea has also been invited for this joint exercise. Till last year, though this exercise was being conducted by the UAE, only members of the Gulf countries and the West Asian partners of this Gulf country has been invited. But from this year, India and South Korea has also been invited. So this is a change. And why are we invited? And what is the importance of Asian countries taking over the security details and security of the West Asia? Before going to that, we'll talk about the complexities that the West Asia is currently facing. In West Asia, we see civil wars going on, that is at Yemen. Second, there is increase of Iran's proxy militias. So, Iran is supporting many rebel militias. It is supporting in Yemen, in Syria, and even in Iraq, it is supporting its proxy militias. Third, there is USA's decline. So what is the reason for USA's decline in providing security and providing more resources to this area? So first, earlier what happened was USA was highly dependent on the oil and other resources of the West Asia. But since last 2 decades, there has been an increase in production of shale oil in USA. So what happened is, now the USA is producing more oil. So the oil, it was earlier dependent on West Asian countries. Now it does not need any West Asian countries for importing the oil. So obviously, when you don't require the support, don't require the resources of a particular region, you would show lesser support to this area, lesser focus on this area. So the complexities are civil war going on, rising Iran in the region, next USA's decline. And in this context, we need to talk about the Abraham Accords. So what are these Abraham Accords? Abraham Accords are the agreement between Israel, UAE, Bahrain. This agreement provided for normalization of ties between these two countries and the Israel. So what happened is, after the formation of Israel, not many countries of the Gulf has accepted, has even identified, has even identified Israel as a country, but later on, due to USA's pressure, Egypt and Jordan accepted ties with Israel, and now USA has been hesitant to increase West Asian ties with the Israel, and USA has helped the UAE and Bahrain to have an agreement with Israel to normalize the ties. So this was in the context of rising Iran's influence in the region. So to decrease the Iran's influence in the region and to efficiently handle Iran, these countries have come together, and this was supported by USA. So these are various complexities and various issues that are going on in the West Asia. So why is West Asia important? First, for the energy supplies, because West Asia provides oil for most of the countries, and India, China, South Korea and other countries are highly dependent on the West Asian oil. In fact, India's largest suppliers of oil are Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and Iran used to be one of the top supplier, but as the USA government has put pressure on India to stop the Iran's oil, we have stopped buying oil from the Iran. But still, Iraq and Saudi Arabia has been continued to be top suppliers of oil to the India. So now the importance of the region lies with the energy supplies the region is providing. Next, vital sea lanes. As you can see, the Gulf region, the West Asia, we have Gulf of Oman, Strait of Hormuz, and even Gulf of Aden. This provides critical route for oil and other goods transportation. So it is important to have secure and stable region in West Asia. Third importance for India, there is 85 lakh migrant workers living in West Asian countries. In UAE itself, nearly 34 lakh Indians are working. So it is important for India to have a stable and secure West Asian region. Fourth, fading USA hold. As the USA which used to be a security provider to this region, this security provision is fading, and USA is now focusing more on Indo-Pacific. So there is a need for security provision in this region. Also, USA's importance to this region has been decreased because, as we've seen earlier, because of the shale oil revolution in the USA. And it can be understood from the fact that for the first time since 1985, USA has zero import oil from Saudi Arabia since 1985. That is, from 1985, USA has been continued to import oil from Saudi Arabia, and in 2021, the oil import from Saudi Arabia to USA has been zero. So you can understand the relevance of USA's fading. Next, Iran and the tensions in this region. So what happened is, after the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, this treaty was violated. This treaty, which provided many advantages to the Iran, from this treaty USA exited. As USA exited from this treaty and it imposed various sanctions on the Iran has been facing numerous crises because cannot export oil now. As it cannot export oil, the amount of foreign resources, forex reserves it can get is reduced, and also whatever the money Iran banks are having in foreign countries, let's say there is an Iran bank A and it has invested 100 million in an Indian bank. Because of the sanctions of USA, the amount of Iran's banking system which is in other country, there has been put on hold. That is, Iran's banks cannot withdraw the amount they have invested. So due to all these issues, Iran has been facing numerous crises at home. So Iran, to get leverage and to pressure the countries to buy more Iran oil and to not follow the USA sanctions on the banking sector. So what it was doing is, in 2013, it has stopped and in 2013, an Indian oil tanker named MT Desh Shanti was confiscated near the Strait of Hormuz in 2013 by Iran. Also in 2021, MT Hancock Chemi, it was a South Korean oil tanker. This was confiscated by the Iran. So the main aim of this confiscation is to pressurize these countries to remove the sanctions on the Iran and to return the money, return the Iran's money in this country's bank accounts. So there is increase in the tensions since the JCPOA exit of the USA. So what the article is telling now is, as there is changing circumstances in the West Asia, changing dynamics in the West Asia, it is important for the Asian countries to be able to protect and secure its oil and energy inputs from the West Asia. So there is a call for India's involvement in the security provision in this area. Also, there is an idea of importers OPEC. Regarding the OPEC, this is Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries. Please visit our 6th of March news analysis video. In this video, we have explained clearly what is OPEC. So now there has been an idea of importers OPEC. That is, those countries which are importing oil from OPEC, these countries should form an organization to protect its supplies from the OPEC countries. And also we have seen involvement of Indian Navy in the West Asia. It is increasing now. It can be understood from the fact of increasing port calls by the Indian Navy and increasing joint and bilateral exercises in the West Asian countries with India. And with Saudi Arabia, we had planned for a joint exercise, but this exercise was delayed due to COVID-19. So also look at various exercises India is having with West Asian countries. These are Al-Naga. This is a joint exercise between India and Oman, and Jair al-Bahar. This exercise is between India and Qatar. So the author is saying that as the USA's focus and USA as a security provider in the West Asia as declining, it is important for the Asian countries to secure its own supplies, to take care of the West Asia on its own. So this is a way forward. Regional countries should become more responsible for their own security, and as Asian economies become stronger, it should be having a stake in the security of this region. Our next article is talking about the new media rules and the tightening news, that is the tightening regulations on the media. This article is talking about the information technology guidelines that was released in the February of 2021. So regarding this, we had a detailed explanation, detailed news analysis session on the 1st and 4th of March. So visit this news analysis session to get an understanding of the OTT platforms and the concerns raised regarding this. So next we come to prelims practice questions. Consider the following statements. Desert Flag is a multi-nation exercise in which India is participating this year for the first time. Second, this exercise is being hosted by Saudi Arabia. Which of the statements is or not true? So the answer to this question is only one, because as we've discussed earlier, it is a multinational exercise. It is true. India and South Korea are attending for the first time. This is true. But this exercise is not being hosted by Saudi Arabia, but in fact it is being hosted by UAE. So option 1 alone is correct. Second, the term Abraham Accords related to. Is it related to the deal between Afghanistan and USA? Is it the deal between USA and Sudan to remove the latter from terror sponsoring countries list? Is it a deal between USA and North Korea? Or is it a deal to normalize the ties between Israel, UAE and Bahrain? So the answer is option D. As we've discussed earlier, this deal between Afghanistan and UAE and USA is called as Doha Agreement. And the normalization of ties between Israel and USA and Israel and Bahrain, this is called as Abraham Accords, facilitated by the United States. Third question, consider the following statements. The Qutub Shahi dynasty ruled Golconda Sultanate in the South India. The dynasty came to an end when Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb sieged Golconda Fort and occupied the kingdom. Which of the following statements are true? The answer is C, because both are true. We'll be discussing a question from 2019 prelims paper. The money multiplier in economy increases with which of the following? Does it increase with the increase in cash reserve ratio? Does it increase with the increase in banking habit of the population? Does it increase with the increase in statutory liquidity ratio? Or does it increase with the population of the country? The answer to this question is option B, because increasing cash reserve ratio or the statutory liquidity ratio will reduce the amount of money in the economy. That is, the amount will be reduced because the banks has to set this aside. Increase in population alone will not increase the money multiplier, but increase in the banking habit will be able to increase the money multiplier. Next, we come to mains practice question. What are the key provisions brought under the Information Technology, Intermediary Guidelines and Digital Media Ethics Code Rules 2021? Answer it in 150 words. What is vaccine nationalism and how does it work? How does it impact the poor countries? Answer it in 150 words. This is the end of this session. Thank you.
Add-on solutions. Add-on desires.